Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth, alongside Phil Duvall. Say hi, Phil.
Hi.
Today we're doing our customary Thursday long-form podcast. It's going to run hopefully around 45 minutes, but we're doing something a little different today. We are doing something we like to call the Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet.
So what happened was we got sent a series of mailbag questions from a viewer they were all great. They were all really, really short, and they all had three options. It was like, which is your favorite? Which is the best? What do you think? A, B, or C? And we loved all 9 of them, basically. And
so good.
So good. And we didn't want to, and they sort of like worked, even though they cover a broad spectrum of genres and topics, we sort of like the idea they sort of fit together thematically. So we decided to do them all together, right?
It is literally 9 questions of saying what is the best this, and then giving 3 options. So he even ties us in to these 3 options. It is a, you know what it is? It's a gauntlet. It is a gauntlet. My friend by the name of Joshua Edwards, he threw this gauntlet down, unbeknownst to him that he was throwing down a gauntlet.
Phil,
but it was a gauntlet nonetheless.
I think you mean he threw down a gauntlet.
He threw what he did, Andy, was he threw down a gauntlet.
There you go. There it is.
Although I think there is some merit in just being like, whatever, it's just a gauntlet. Like pretending like we're so like. I've been through a number of gauntlets in my day, but the fact is I've never done anything like this.
Phil,
I am terrified for the next 45 minutes of what's going to happen to us, Andy.
Me too, and we are not cool enough, Phil, to even pretend like we are cool enough. We couldn't even pole vault to cool enough to just toss off the word gauntlet like, gauntlet, we can't do it.
I accept your criticism of us. That is accurate. I think that's true. So I have in my hand, I wanted to say, by the way, that I wanted so bad to start this podcast with some music, and we have, and then Andy was like, "Cool, you should do that." And then I was like, "Okay, let me go pick a song." And he goes, "Oh, you mean off your MP3s? Well, you know that it has to be. You can't play anything that's copywritten."
Public domain, baby.
Well, that's all of the... Okay, but I mean, and I do actually have I have a bunch of folk songs, but then the recording of them is not public domain. You know what I mean? So basically it's me getting up my ukulele and playing a song. And so then I go, but we should have a theme song for the Gauntlet. And he's like, that's also a good idea, which we can't do. And his idea, Andy goes, hey, why don't we ask the viewers to write us a theme song? Actually, I want something more than that. I want you guys to actually make us popular enough that we can afford the rights to real music. I don't want your crappy theme song. I want famous people who have already written awesome songs. I was going to play for the beginning of Second Breakfast. I was going to have the little entryway to Marty Robbins' El Paso. Like, do-do-do-do-do. And this has been another Second Breakfast as it's like playing us off into the Old West. Can't do it. Can't do it. Probably can't even say what I just said. The estate of Marty Robbins has just texted me and said, cease and desist.
Yeah, you could probably do that. I will say this, though. I would love, even if it's crappy, maybe even especially if it's crappy, to have a placeholder song or two for the Second Breakfast podcast and the Gauntlet. More of a jingle, really. But Phil, I know you have been impressed with the musical stylings of one of our most ardent fans, Andrew Blumberg.
Is Bob Dylan one of our
You're just
listeners?
The worst person. You're the worst person I know. Andrew Blumberg has written me for various birthdays 3 zombie songs. So
he's the one who writes the zombie songs?
He's the one.
Andrew Blumberg, get on it. What are you doing? Other things? Right. Having a career?
Right.
We need to start the Gauntlet, because at this point all we're doing is delaying.
We're delaying the Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet.
Andy,
yes.
Set your clock. Is your clock ready?
My clock's been going since we started, so we're good.
I will ignore what you just said and act like you have started the clock. Thank you for starting the clock.
You're welcome.
The Gauntlet begins now. Andy, best movie based on a Stephen King work. Here are your options. You are confined by the Gauntlet. Misery, Shawshank Redemption, or Stand By Me. Misery, Shawshank Redemption, or Stand By Me. Go.
Of those three, Stand By Me.
Do say more.
I think it's been a while since I've seen it, so I can't speak completely intelligently to this. But my recollection of it is that it is a perfect movie. It's just
You're correct.
It's just a perfect movie, and
Yes.
and it's a movie that I think is simultaneously hard to do well, but also is overrepresented in my list of favorite movies, which is it's a coming of age story.
Yes.
And you would look at, if I were to list my 100 favorite movies, you would probably see more things that have coming of age aspects than any other single aspect. I say that with...
Well, because both of us have serious Arrested Development issues.
So, yes,
Okay.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But I also there is also a level of admiration because I do recognize that it's so hard to do it well.
Yes.
Both of the other two movies I think are great. I don't know that I would pick one of these three movies unless forced to. But
Okay.
that's my answer.
Come back. Okay. Well, okay. Are we gonna? Okay. So for
we
me,
can talk about it more, but please go.
For me, Stand By Me, absolutely as
Sure.
well. Shawshank is I think the obvious choice here for many people. It is becoming bigger and bigger. Culturally, Shawshank is sort of the biggest of the three. Misery is a phenomenally good suspense movie, and Kathy Bates has a career-defining performance, and Jimmy Caan is great.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, unquestionably for me, Stand By Me is great. Partially it is because you and I grew up on it, but but here's what I want to say about Stand By Me. It manages to define two generations at once. It defines the generation of the people that it's portraying coming of age, and then all of us who saw it as we were coming of age took it on as ourselves. And so it's a movie that defines our generation's movie going, and at the exact same time is basically defining our parents' generation. And so it ties us together musically, because I do not know a kid who did not grow up with the Stand By Me soundtrack. Even kids who didn't like music had that soundtrack in their house, so they were singing along with their parents, even if their parents didn't listen to like that kind of music all the time or whatever. Hello, Boot. And I think so. That's the thing. Shawshank Redemption is high myth. It's a really great contemporary myth, and it's really, I mean, we could talk about Shawshank all day long.
Yep.
It's maybe the second best movie of 1994. But Stand By Me, and the other thing about Stand By Me is it's like the Goonies. It lets kids cuss. It lets kids be the way they're going to be. It's actually even dirtier than like you would expect ever to see.
True.
Movie. It might even be
true.
rated R,
Yeah.
just for the language.
Mm-hmm.
Kids get scary. Kids get scared in real ways. It doesn't take anything lightly in any way, shape, or form. At the end, they do this narration, and one of the characters dies. In the and here's what happens to the characters, and it I remember it gutted me, like the fact that they were just like, oh, by the way, one of these guys that you love, this is how he dies. What?
Yes.
And it has River Phoenix perfectly, and Corey Feldman before he became a caricature, and Will Wheaton before he became anything else, and that kid Vern. I mean, it's just, and Kiefer Sutherland, scary. Perfect movie.
Yes.
I would recommend Stand By Me over and over and over again. It's one of my favorite movies, and I think it's fantastic.
Two of those three movies directed by Rob Reiner. Remember when he was good?
True that. It was like a brief shining period, but yes, there was like a 3 or 4 year period where he was just knocking them dead. It was like, what's Rob Reiner going to do next? And then he did North, and it was like, oh, okay.
That's what he's going to do next. Go ahead.
So are we talking about anything other than that, or we're just going to the next movie?
Let's do it.
Next Gauntlet question.
Do.
Of the 3 movies listed.
Yes.
Oh, this hurts my heart. Best Western. Not the hotel, the movies. Best Western genre, or best Western movie.
Okay.
Unforgiven.
Yep.
Tombstone, or True Grit, the Coen Brothers version. By the way, the other day when you and I did a Western conversation, I listed all 3 of those movies.
It's true. I can't wait to hear yours. Tombstone. I think it's a perfect movie, and that's not really a commentary on whether the other 2 aren't. But I think I've only seen the Coen Brothers True Grit once, although I loved it and I do plan on seeing it many more times in my future. But Tombstone, I had the pleasure of it being a new sort of arrival in my life. I didn't see it. I saw it for the first time maybe 2 years ago, and since then I have bought it and I've watched it maybe 5 or 6 times. It's glorious. Tombstone.
The dumbest thing maybe you've ever said in your life. I have seen Tombstone. I saw Tombstone 3 times in the movie theaters. I love Tombstone so much. So much. It is Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. It is a pantheon performance, and people quote it to this day. It is genius. It is completely and utterly a B movie. There are so many goofy lines. There are so many goofy, poorly done moments. The script is totally torn up. The movie the guy originally shot was like 3.5 hours long, and then they put out a 2.5-hour version, and there's all sorts of things that happen. It's so far from perfect. I love True Grit so very much I can't even describe it. Unforgiven is unquestionably the best of those 3 movies. Unforgiven is one of the best movies of our lifetime. It is the best movie Clint Eastwood's ever made, either acted in or directed. It has Gene Hackman, terrifying, won an Academy Award for that, beat Jack Nicholson for A Few Good Men, which is an interesting decision by the Academy, but Hackman is wonderful. Hackman is so great. I could talk about Gene Hackman for days. Unforgiven, I could write 1,000 sermons on Unforgiven. It is to me like,
okay.
It's on a whole other level.
Agreed. I'd like to.
You're gonna amend.
Yeah, only a little bit. First off, I have been answering these, and I will try to stick to the format. I answered both of these first 2 as favorite rather than best. I think I can't disagree with you that in terms of objective quality, there's no contest. Unforgiven is absolutely the best movie.
I don't believe in objectivity. I don't believe it exists. So let's just say favorite. So you'd say your favorite is Tombstone.
You come on. You know what I mean. Yeah, don't get all.
I'm actually trying to help you out here, Andy. I'm trying to help you with the Gauntlet. I'm not kidding. I don't want to go through this whole thing and say like, well, I think structurally this is the best movie. That's why it's the best. Like, I think Unforgiven's my favorite of the 3.
And
I think Tombstone is the most. I think Tombstone's the most rewatchable. Unforgiven is so intense that you're not just going to be like, it's a lovely Sunday afternoon. I'm going to throw on Unforgiven.
Fair. That is perhaps what I mean when I say in this particular case the difference between best and favorite. If I had to pick the best of the Stephen King work, I might come up with a different answer than Stand By Me.
You'd say Running Man. You'd say Running Man, wouldn't you?
Christine with the killer car. Christine.
It might be Carrie, but we can talk about that. We'll do when they're remaking Carrie with Chloe Moretz right now, and when that comes out, you and I are going to have to talk about that versus the original.
Oh, totally.
Because I'm already ready for it to be a classic. I'm ready for the remake to be amazing, and I love the original. Okay, we need to move on, except to say that True Grit, the Coen Brothers version, may end up becoming my favorite of these 3 eventually.
Nice.
That's how much I love it. It's growing on me all the time. Best trilogy.
Okay.
Back to the Future.
Yep.
Beverly Hills Cop or Evil Dead. Boom!
Okay, well, I mean, you can knock out Beverly Hills Cop right now because the second one is just okay.
Don't talk bad about the second one. I've seen Beverly Hills Cop 2 probably more than I've seen any of the other movies on that list.
And me saying I really like Tombstone and that that's the most embarrassing thing or the stupidest thing I've ever said. Really?
No, I didn't say it was the best. I'm just telling you the truth about my life.
You need to reorganize your priorities.
Beverly Hills Cop, we're knocking off the list immediately because of Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Indeed.
Done.
I think
Out of the question.
In any way you want to look at it, my answer has to be Back to the Future. It has to be.
Yes.
If you want to look at the best movie of the three. I think the first Back to the Future is just, it is a glorious, the fact that it is quote unquote popcorn entertainment and it's sort of just designed to be fun does not make it not one of the most fun movies I have ever had the pleasure of watching and rewatching. It is the most rewatchable movie, maybe. It's just the most rewatchable movie. It's unbelievable. I could literally watch it on an endless loop. You compare that to the first Beverly Hills Cop movie, which is awfully, awfully good and awfully rewatchable. Evil Dead trilogy gains some points because the three are actually pretty consistent. And they're very different. The first one is a straight horror movie that kind of doesn't work. So Evil Dead 2 is actually, it's not a sequel, it's more of a remake, but they up the camp factor, which in the first one was kind of unintentional, and the second one
and then the third one's just not a horror movie at all.
It's just a comedy. It's glorious. I enjoy all three of them. But I think the other way to look at it, the worst of the movies, which I think is pretty undeniably Back to the Future 2.
Yes.
It's still really watchable. Like, it's still really watchable.
So I would not have picked Back to the Future a while ago because of that. I remember seeing Back to the Future 2 in the movie theaters and being so just like, I mean, how old were we? I was like 12, and I was like, what just happened? I mean, when did that come out? I mean, 89 or something? I don't know. Someone smart looked that up. Anyways, if you had asked me this question 5 years ago, if you had asked me this question 1 year ago, I would have said the Evil Dead trilogy. I would have said the Evil Dead trilogy unquestionably. Love Evil Dead 2, love Army of Darkness. I've only seen Evil Dead 1 like once, and I still would pick this because Army of Darkness was such a defining movie for me.
Sure.
But recently, you talked about Endless Loop. HBO has been showing, I think it's HBO, one of the movie channels has been showing the Back to the Future movies just nonstop. And I watched them all recently as an adult.
Yep.
And it's very clear that those are the best of those three, and maybe the best trilogy. What? Not the best trilogy ever. We'll talk about that some other time. But it's in the conversation. It's in the conversation.
Yeah.
I think Back to the Future. You know, you talked about us being movie geeks once. Sorry for interrupting you. You talked about us being movie geeks once, and I have never identified. This is going to sound funny. I've never identified myself as a movie geek. I have identified myself as I just am someone who loves movies. But geeks, I thought, were always the ones who...
Potato. Sure.
No, I'm not trying to like say that to be like...
No, I know.
They were the ones who talked about Back to the Future and had a specific list of movies they all loved, and that wasn't my list.
Sure.
And so I always felt like I didn't belong to that group. It's like, Andy and I, you and I went to... I never know if I'm supposed to talk to the audience or to you. I never know the answer when we're doing this show. We're so new at this. Okay, audience, Andy and I went to see Lord of the Rings on opening day, and... we were the kind of people who would go to see Lord of the Rings for we couldn't go to the midnight showing, but we went to the 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. showing in Boston, and we were the kind of people who would go to the opening day show.
Yep.
That's the kind of people we are. We were also, I submit, the most normal people at that show. In the sense that we were not dressed up as anything. We were in relationships with actual human people. We were... just a number of things. I can't speak Elvish. I don't have a tattoo of Galadriel's face, but I know her name. So, I mean, this is the thing. I'm nerdy, but I'm not like... I'm the kind of person who will stay up... I will stay up all night to go to a midnight showing, but then I'll look around and be like, who are these people that I'm with?
What are we doing here?
So Back to the Future, I always felt like belonged to the movie geeks. But the reality is it's just a phenomenal trilogy. That's all I want to say. Agreed.
And the last, I want to put a bow on this because I think it's just so important because I think it gets a bum rap. Back to the Future 3 is glorious. It really is good.
Oh, it's so good.
I think it gets a bad rap because there isn't as much like this movie is about time travel as certainly the second one, but even the first one. There's more time travel stuff in the first one than there is in part 3, but that's because they've set up the formula by that point, and now you just get to watch the characters being awesome and the characters and actors loving each other and loving being together, and it is inventive and joyous and just so much fun. It is a wonderful.
Mary Steenburgen is fantastic.
So good.
By the way.
So
Can I
good.
can I tell you the difference between you and me
Please.
right now? The
Please do.
big difference between you and me is you say, there's this thing about Back to the Future 3 that it's underrated. And I think it's probably because, and you just went and said this wonderful reason and said, but here's the thing about this movie, right? All that's really great. I would go, you were like, when you first said, I think Back to the Future 3 is underrated, I thought, yeah, because people are stupid. And that's my brain just stopped right there. You said all this stuff. See, I think people are criticizing, and I'm just like, because people are stupid. Back to the Future 3 is great. Move on. That's how my mind works. It's like, whatever, they're idiots. And you're just like, let's think about why they like this one better than that one. And I'm like, let's think about why those people should just get their lives together.
Nice.
So, Andy, Gauntlet question number 4, moving right along at a gut-wrenching pace. Best second movie of a trilogy. Best second movie of a trilogy. Here are your choices. Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo. I'm just kidding. That is not one of the choices. Return of the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Also not one of the choices. Okay, here we go. Best second movie. This is why you shouldn't let me ask the questions.
You're never... Viewers, Phil will never be asking any question again. Not ever. Not ever. Not even just off the cuff. I'll never even allow him to ask a question to me about anything. Ever again.
How are you? Things are going painfully awry on the Gauntlet. I'm not sure if we're going to survive the Gauntlet. We still have five more questions. 6 more. Oh my God. Best second movie of a trilogy. Empire Strikes Back, The Dark Knight, or Two Towers.
Okay. I'm gonna equivocate here, and you're gonna hate me, but let me explain why.
Andy, before you explain, can I say something?
Yes.
I already hate you.
Fair enough.
It has begun by the fact that you've already started to equivocate.
I hate you. So here's the deal. The reason I'm not going to pick The Two Towers is because, well, there are 2 ways that the trilogy can be put together, right? Like the Back to the Future way, where they made a really good movie and then they realized they could get 2 more movies out of it, or which, by the way, is Empire Strikes Back. I know he had 9 or 12 movies in his head, but it wasn't like they signed up to make 3 movies. They made 1 movie and it did really well, so they signed off on the other 2.
Yep.
But The Two Towers was designed as the middle chapter of a 3-chapter story, right?
Yep.
So as a standalone film, it is not the equal of either of the 2 movies, but it is a brilliant bridge film. Because I don't think it tells a complete story. I don't think it tells that's. Zaba. You can answer the question your own way. This is mine.
Something with you real quick. I just want to say something with you.
Yes.
I want to say something with you, which is, I'm not arguing with you. You and I refuse to acknowledge Lord of the Rings as 3 separate movies.
That is totally fair. And I don't remember the last time.
It wasn't shot as 3 movies.
Right.
It was processed in order, but other than that, it wasn't shot as 3 movies. It was shot as 1 movie. It was developed and processed and done everything as 1 movie. I treat it as 1 movie really over 3 years.
I can't remember the last time I watched one of the movies by themselves. You know?
It's just, well, they're on cable. Stars shows them a lot, and I'll just be like, ooh.
Sure,
Two Towers is
enough.
I
don't have cable, so there you go.
I very much have cable. Okay,
I'm gonna go with Empire Strikes Back. It's just too important to me. It is the one moment in the Star Wars universe that everything came together literally, just literally perfectly, and it works on a story level, a character level, a I am a little boy and I want these magical stories to be true level, and it actually takes things a little deeper than Star Wars, which is, and it's not just because it's more depressing. It makes it more meaningful. That's my answer. Empire Strikes Back.
Dark Knight.
Say why.
I can't. Because it hurts to say it.
Okay.
Empire. Look, here's the deal. First of all, my favorite Star Wars movie is Star Wars. It's Episode 4. I get everything that everyone says about Empire Strikes Back. When I was a kid, I had a copy of Star Wars, which was just called Star Wars at the time,
right.
On video cassette, and I watched it so many times I can't even tell you. Empire Strikes Back is amazing, but I don't. It's not ingrained in me the way that the original is, and I love the original so much. And I don't like. I'm sure everyone's right, but to me, my favorite movie of the trilogy is the first one. The Dark Knight is
Phil. I am in complete agreement with you. But if we're focusing on the second,
The Dark Knight is the best of the trilogy. The Dark Knight is the best of the 3 Dark Knight movies.
Fair.
It is it is a standalone movie, and it fits within a trilogy. It is fair. I love the trilogy. The Dark Knight Rises had some people who spoke ill of it or against it. I am not one of them.
Nope.
I loved the entire trilogy. I love the third one. I love the first one.
Yep.
But the second one is, to me, head and shoulders above both. It manages to transcend the whole comic book genre. If someone said I don't like comic book movies, I'd say, cool. You could watch this and pretend it has nothing to do with comic books. Just watch the movie. I think it transcends the genre more than Empire Strikes Back transcends sci-fi or fantasy. I think it is unquestionably the best of the 3 of its trilogy, and I think that it's So Dark Knight. I'm gonna say Dark Knight. Two Towers doesn't count, and Empire Strikes Back. Oh, Empire Strikes. I love you, Empire. I love you, Star Wars.
It hurt me not to pick The Dark Knight, so it doesn't surprise me that it hurts you not to pick Empire.
This is a really, really hard one. The next one in the Gauntlet. Best World War II, or this just says WW2. I'm assuming it means World War II. Best World War II. I'm just going for the seat of my pants here. Best World War II Spielberg film: Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, or Empire of the Sun.
Well, it's clearly not Saving Private Ryan. I mean, just clearly. To me.
Wow.
To me.
Listen, the funny thing is I totally agree with you. I just didn't expect that coming from you. That's
really?
Everybody loves it so much. Everybody loves it so much.
That's not true, because the two of us don't love it. So I like it fine, but whatever.
I feel like we're meeting in a secret room, admitting that we don't love it so much. That's how I feel.
We are Cassandra proclaiming the truth, and no one is listening to us.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say Costanza.
We're Costanza proclaiming the truth, and no one is listening.
George is getting upset.
I'm gonna go with Schindler's List. I'm going to go with Schindler's List, and I will tell you why, because it has been probably an equal number of years since I have seen both of them, but Schindler's List has stuck with me more.
Okay.
But I love the crap out of Empire of the Sun. I mean, Malkovich and Christian Bale is so good. It's just so good. And I weep like a baby at various points in that movie, but I'm going with Schindler's List.
This is the easiest choice I've had to make.
Okay.
I didn't particularly care for Saving Private Ryan. I understand that it had the greatest battle sequence that ever happened, and that people talk about it as if Spielberg took the DeLorean back to 1944 and filmed it.
Right.
But it probably wasn't even 1944. It's probably 1943 or something, and I'm a terrible American. I'm willing to be a terrible American, by the way. It's so cheesy on so many levels. The beginning and the ending of that movie make me furious with how cheesy it is and badly done it is, and how upsetting to me the final question of the movie is just I can't even get into it. I've never seen Empire of the Sun.
Wow. Okay.
I know.
It is worth
it. So Schindler's List. Schindler's List is a really good movie. I have a couple issues with Schindler's List as well, but it is. We have a friend from college, and I don't want to out him. I don't think he deserves this, but he was like, I'll never forget it. I'll tell you who it was after the podcast, but it was during college, and he was smoking a cigarette, and he goes, you know what? I don't dislike Schindler's List because I'm anti-Semitic. I don't like it because it's a crappy movie.
I have no comment on that, although I think I know who it is.
I'll tell you later, but I don't think it's a crappy movie. It's a really, really well done movie that no one ever wants to watch.
And it in much the same way that, say, Inglourious Basterds introduced us to Christoph Waltz, it introduced us to Ralph Fiennes, and for that I will love it forever.
I think that would be reason enough for me. Ralph Fiennes is that good.
Very briefly, before we go swiftly on to the next Gauntlet question, D-Day was in 1944, so you were right.
Oh, good. Oh, my American status is We
will not kick you to Canada. Go for it.
Okay. Thank God. Well, to be clear, if I get kicked out of this country, people are like, I'm going to go to Canada. I'm going to Mexico. Like, I'm not going to Canada. I'm going to Baja, and I'm living on the beach, and I'm eating fish tacos. It's ridiculous that people would. Oh, if blankety blank gets elected, I'm moving to Canada. Do you know how cold it is in Canada?
Phil.
It's. Do you understand that when you're in Ithaca, New York, you have to go north to get to Canada?
Phil,
That's how cold Canada is.
Phil, it was a punishment. That's why you're going to Canada.
I
Next
would take
question.
a boat to Mexico.
Next question.
Okay. I read recently that it's pronounced Kubrick. Best Kubrick film.
Oh, I'm annoyed by that pronunciation, even if it's right. Go ahead. Even if it's right.
His daughter says it's Kubrick, so maybe you hate women. Clockwork. I'm just. You know what? I'm just doing the math. Clockwork Orange, The Shining. I don't know why my voice did that. It's because I'm scared. Clockwork Orange, The Gauntlet is getting to me. All work and no play make Phil a dull boy. Clockwork, The Shining, or Full Metal Jacket. Those are your options.
Interestingly, you quoted a Kubrick movie that is not one of those three. Oh yeah, no, sorry, The Shining. I was because the reason I said that is because my answer to that in an
because your favorite Kubrick movie is not one of these three.
It might not be. It might not be. I'm going to go with Clockwork Orange, and here's why.
Okay.
Full Metal Jacket, I think the first half of the movie is a very different movie from the second half, and I know that that's intentional, but while it is still an enjoyable movie to watch and still very powerful, I think the disjointedness of it, and I get it, that's on purpose, it takes me out of the movie just a little bit. Okay. The Shining, while it is brilliant, and while I couldn't really tell you why it's wrong in any way, I love, and this is my own baggage that I bring to the movie, I love the Stephen King novel so much that the fact that it is fundamentally different produces another disconnect. Interestingly, if the guy from Wing, Steven Weber, who was in like the 6-hour miniseries adaptation, it's not a very good miniseries, but it is much more faithful to the story. So I actually enjoy it.
You and I had this exact conversation in your dorm in college.
I am unsurprised.
And I think it's interesting. What's interesting to me about it, Andy, is that I was wondering when we started our first question, it said movie based on a Stephen King work, if you were going to out yourself as a really big Stephen King fan. I have read none of his I have read one of his novels, and then I've read a couple of his short stories under the name Richard Bachman. I have not actually read hardly any Stephen King. I have no baggage around it.
I love him to death. I think he is a far more talented writer than people give him credit for because he is so successful, and because of the genres that he usually plays in. I think he is fabulous. But the fact is, Phil, that none of everything I've just said, none of it matters. Because even if those things I said about those two movies were not true, I would still pick A Clockwork Orange because I love the movie that much. It is glorious. I love that movie. Interestingly, different enough from the novel that there might be an issue with that, but I just don't feel it.
Hugely different. He chooses when they put out Clockwork Orange in America, they took the last chapter of the movie of the book out. When they published the book in America,
yes.
And then Kubrick, who's living in England, ends up producing the American version instead of the English version.
Yes.
Hugely interesting choice, and Anthony Burgess, the writer of the book, was not pleased with that decision.
No.
As far as I remember, and the book is well worth reading. And I haven't watched. When I saw Clockwork Orange, I was 14 or 15, which should tell you something about my brain. And it was immediately one of my favorite movies. I haven't seen it since high school for some reason. I will be watching it soon for the top 100 list that my wife and I are working our way through. That's the only movie on the list. No, that's not true. That's one of 2 movies on the list that she is refusing to watch, but we may watch it. And she may change her mind come game time. Who knows?
Sure.
The other one, by the way, is Unforgiven, and both of them have rapes in them, and my wife says just no. So legit, like, what can you do? The wife says no, okay to that, that makes perfect sense. But I want to say Clockwork Orange. I really want to say Clockwork Orange.
You're not going to say Clockwork Orange.
Well, it's not Full Metal Jacket. It's just not. That's just a complete. Everything you said is exactly right. It's completely flawed, and it's really it's in some ways more terrifying than anything he's ever done in the first half.
Yep.
But it's not the same. I'm gonna say The Shining. I'm gonna say Clockwork Orange. It's Clockwork Orange. I want to say The Shining so bad. The Shining is one of the 2 or 3 scariest movies of all time, and Jack Nicholson. The Gauntlet is tearing me up inside.
Internet, I want you to notice that I am cool as a cucumber, and Phil is falling apart like a badly constructed IKEA table.
Gonna fall apart by the end. That's because I have to ask the questions. You don't know what it's like to bear the burden of holding these in my. There's more to come, Andy.
Yes, because I've never asked you questions in this podcast. I've never asked you questions in this podcast. That's never happened.
Are you comparing a mailbag to the Gauntlet? Don't compare a mailbag to the Gauntlet.
God.
This is the Gauntlet.
Do you see what I have to deal with every day? Do you see what Internet?
The Internet sides with me. Best Disney movie of the 90s.
Oh.
Aladdin,
Okay.
Beauty and the Beast, or Lion King. El Rey de Leon.
I'm a little sad that one of the choices isn't The Rocketeer. Although to be fair, I wouldn't have picked it.
You're just being, no. I
love that movie. Don't even start with me.
By the way, my favorite Kubrick movie is Dr. Strangelove, but continue.
Indeed. Eyes Wide Shut. No, not really.
No.
No.
You'll see the big board.
I find it impossible to. So we had the best versus favorite discussion earlier. I find it impossible to answer this in any other way other than favorite. And my answer, it's so close. I think my answer has to be Beauty and the Beast.
I'm so angry with you right now before you answer. Go ahead. What's your answer?
It's still Beauty and the Beast. Thank you for not listening to me, jerk.
I'm too angry.
Beauty and the Beast. That's and it was close with The Lion King, mostly because, frankly, I just love the crap out of the play Hamlet, and The Lion King is Hamlet, and I think it's a brilliant adaptation of Hamlet. With awesome songs, and Jeremy Irons is the bad guy. Like, that doesn't, I mean, come on. But Beauty and the Beast, it's magical. It is a reminder of what Disney in its heyday was. I love. That's my answer.
You picked correctly. It is Beauty and the Beast.
Thank you, Father.
Beauty and the Beast is both subjectively my favorite and objectively the best Disney cartoon of all time.
I thought that objectively didn't exist.
What's that?
I thought objectively didn't exist.
I don't really think it does, but for the purposes of our, I really don't. But for the purposes of our conversation, I say Beauty and the Beast wins every argument. I think it is a benchmark. I think the music in Lion King is so not as good as what I mean. You had Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin, and then it just was like, and Lion King. Lion King has a couple good songs. Yeah. They're pop songs. Elton John's a pop songwriter, and they're pop songs that were like kind of shoved in. Just Can't Wait to Be King is one of the worst songs that ever happened to Disney, and they just like shoot to fluorescent, and it's like it hurts my heart. But you're right about Jeremy Irons. You're right about Hamlet and all that stuff. I love Lion King. I mean, I was just we need to get. My wife and I were talking about that the other night. I love Lion King. Can't wait to watch that. My brother watched that with his sons, or with one of his sons, and his son was like 5 when he watched it, and he was like he called me after. He's like, this movie's scarier than I realized. He's like,
right?
That guy just kills his brother, and my son was like, Dad, what happened to Mufasa, Dad? And he was like, So my wife and I buy Disney Blu-rays when they come out a lot of the times. I don't have all of them, but the other night my daughter like finds these movies because they're right on her level, and she just brings them over to me. This little 2-year-old girl walking over and handing me stuff, and my daughter hands me this DVD, and I go, "We own Bambi? Like, when are we gonna watch Bambi? Like, why did I buy what?" What awesome. Drug and like what like I don't do drugs, so I can't even like what hysterical state was I in where I was like, we should own Bambi. It was a bad decision.
A couple of responses. First off, every good Disney movie worth its salt has some terrifying moments in it, championed by the drug-induced awfulness that is the pink elephant scene in Dumbo.
Oh my gosh!
Duh! I mean, come on. Also, uh, the one thing that Lion King does have all over Beauty and the Beast is it is of the two Broadway musicals produced from those movies, it is significantly better than Beauty and the Beast.
Fair enough.
Just not even competition.
Yeah. But I think they had more room to work with, frankly.
Totally agree. Completely agree.
So,
moving on.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Best Kevin Spacey movie.
Whew.
7 with a 7 for the V. Seven.
Seven.
Seven. Usual Suspects or American Beauty. Best Kevin Spacey movie. 7. Usual Suspects or American Beauty.
Well, I'm gonna equivocate here. The question is, if the question is, and I'm thinking out loud, my answer might be different if it's the best movie that Kevin Spacey was in or the best example of a Kevin Spacey movie. You know what I mean?
Would you like me to take this one while you think about it?
Yes, I would.
Okay, the best Kevin Spacey movie, the answer is American Beauty.
Okay.
Unquestionably. 7 is, okay, a couple things you need to say. 7 and Usual Suspects came out the same year, and that was the world's introduction to Kevin Spacey.
Sure.
And him as Verbal Kint in Usual Suspects and him as John Doe in 7. Terrifying and amazing. And they, together, one of them you were like, this guy's terrifying, but he's really good. And the other one you're like, this guy's amazing and really fun. And I mean, Usual Suspects was groundbreaking for him, and I love him in it. It is a movie that is so much fun, but so ridiculous the more you watch it. Like, it becomes more and more ridiculous and sort of unfathomably goofy when you watch it. But he's amazing in it. 7, I've never cared for. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's a very important movie to our generation. A lot of people love it. It's an important movie. I think 97, 96, whatever. It's not for me. I don't think Brad Pitt, ready for this, is any good in it. And Kevin Spacey's just got
a what's in the box?
No! What's in the box? What's in the box? Anyways, I can't.
That's my way of saying I may or may not agree with you. Go ahead.
We try not to make fun of people and denigrate things on this podcast. We try to spend the time on the things we love. 7 is not my favorite movie. It's very, very scary and brutal, and you should only watch it once and then never see it again. Kevin Spacey's barely in it. His presence is looming throughout, and when he shows up, he's terrifying.
Yes. American
Beauty is Kevin Spacey as leading man, showing everything he has. It is a complete film. It is one of my favorite movies of the it came out in 2000, so it's one of my favorite movies of that time. Or no, it came out in 1999, and it's still one of my favorite movies of the 90s. Yeah. It is I can't say enough about him in that movie. I think about that movie a lot. I think about the way it ends. I think his role is perfect. He won an Academy Award. He deserved for it. It goes on and on and on. To me, American Beauty is a unquestionably runaway him.
I think I agree with you. I think it's been a really long time actually since I've seen American Beauty. I've seen the other movies much more recently. The Usual Suspects, I agree. I think it's already in some sense dated, and not dated in terms of time period, but dated just like as what you said. The more you watch it, the goofier it gets. Although it's undeniably fun the first at least couple of times you watch it.
Oh yeah. If it's on TV, I'll watch it. Don't get me wrong.
But American Beauty wins for me as well. I would love. I don't have the issues, no judgment, that you have with 7. I have seen it several times, and I don't own it, but I do very much enjoy, as much as one can, with that movie, watching it. I would love to see Kevin Spacey and David Fincher work together again. I think that would be a wonderful thing.
Absolutely. I have nothing but love for David Fincher. That's not true. I don't care one way or the other. He's good, though. He's really good at what he does. Right. He's not someone that when he makes a movie, I'm like, I got to see the next David Fincher movie. But he's really good. I thought his version of Girl with a Dragon Tattoo was awesome. Just amazing.
So good.
Amazing. Kevin Spacey, back to the thing you could just like, it's like Schindler's List. Oh, gee, I guess I'll watch that today. American Beauty is not like that because American Beauty is legitimately entertaining throughout, but it is emotionally... You invest in it, and by the end, it takes you away. And I think if Usual Suspects was on, it would just be like, you could just sit there and watch it and just check out. It's kind of glorious.
I totally agree with you.
Final question for the Gauntlet.
Man, I came through this fine. Whew, God.
Okay. Ugh.
Cut me, Lou. Cut me.
I can't see him. I can't see him. This is a
He's
fun
like
one,
a
and it's
Bob
getting
Iron.
us. So, Andy, to get us ready for this question, I went into Starbucks yesterday, and Starbucks has taught me that it is now the Christmas season.
I hate everything about that.
I, for some reason, I was like, and then I got in my car and I turned on I have a XM radio, and instead of the 40s station, which is sad that I was like, I have the 40s station on my presets because I'm weird. I went to the 40 station, and it wasn't the 40 station for now. For the rest of the year, it's the traditional holiday music.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, great, and I listened to it. So I guess it's ready. I guess it's time for Christmas season.
Look. The Christmas season is one of my favorite times of year. I'm not denigrating the Christmas season. It's just like it could come after Thanksgiving.
I agree. I agree with you on principle.
But in no other way.
No, I agree with you on principle, and I agree with you. Like, there are times when it gets to me. It's Christmas starting right now is why by the time Christmas shows up, people are like, stop with the Christmas already. How long does it take? Well, I mean, it's Jesus being born. It takes 9 months.
Why is everyone who is sick of Christmas Howard Wolowitz's mother from The Big Bang Theory?
Aren't we all? I mean, let's be honest. Because by the time it's over, that's how you feel. Like, just a disembodied voice screaming from another Jewish son. That's how we all feel.
Indeed.
That's probably how Mary sounded. Jesus, clean up your room. I'm gonna, Mom. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to save the world.
She was a Jewish mother. Go ahead.
And best Christmas movie.
Ooh.
I know. Best Christmas movie. A Christmas Story, Elf, or Christmas Vacation.
I mean, you could have stopped talking for me after A Christmas Story.
I almost said the same thing. I almost said Christmas Story and some other crap.
I mean, you're talking to someone when they do the 24 hours of A Christmas Story. Like, I budget in at least 2 showings of it. At least.
Agreed.
It is.
Hey, here's an idea. Let's do this. We totally agree. Let's rank them.
Okay.
What's second? What's third? Clearly, the answer is Christmas Story. Unquestionably, the answer is Christmas Story. Let's rank the next 2.
Caveat to this is I do very much like both of the other 2.
Yes, me too. No, that's not true. Continue.
But yeah, I like both of the other 2. One I very much like, and the one I very much like is Christmas Vacation.
Me too. We are just just 2 little peas in a cozy second breakfast pod right now.
It's true. There is, I confess, Phil, we may have just lost a couple of viewers in China because our dear friend Evan Weinberg and his wife Josie Boudreau, he is maybe the biggest Will Ferrell fan in the entire world, and he may be currently plotting to kill us just from having...
To which I say, who's gonna do it? You, Lieutenant Weinberg? That's all. I'll just say that. Yeah, I quoted Aaron Sorkin. I'll do it because it's not Aaron Sorkin; it's Jack Nicholson.
Nice.
That's all.
Nice.
Hey, Evan Weinberg, I love you, but and Will Ferrell's fine. He's he is really talented, and I will see almost all of his movies. I didn't care that much about Elf. It's more fun on repeated viewings.
Agreed.
But when it came out, everyone was like, "This is an amazing Christmas movie," and I was like, "No, it's not. It's not." And it's got my girl in it. It's got Zooey Deschanel.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I can't think. I mean, we've said the word objective a lot because the word best keeps showing up.
Yeah.
I am completely incapable of thinking objectively about Zooey Deschanel.
That's fair.
I can't.
Phil, I'm not going to sit here and judge you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and that's why you and I talk. A bunch of other people watching this might judge me. I just pretend that they don't exist. And
Nice.
That's how we do this thing that we do.
Internet, that's how you build a viewership, by telling them we don't think they exist.
I feel bad about that. Internet, I love you. You're great. You mean so much to me, Internet. Faceless viewers. Christmas Vacation I love it so much.
Yes.
It is very flawed, but it is fantastic.
Yes.
And
agreed.
it is you can't get through a Christmas without hearing other people say lines. It has entered the cultural it has entered the way that we think about Christmas and can talk about Christmas as a culture like no other modern movie, with the exception of Christmas Story.
Agreed. I think we're done with the Gauntlet. Are we done with the Gauntlet? We're totes done with the Gauntlet.
I want to thank Joshua Edwards, and I want to throw this gauntlet down to you, viewers. Can you create a gauntlet? Can you craft a gauntlet as craftily crafted as Josh Edwards crafted this gauntlet? This is a beautiful thing. This is a beautiful thing. This was so much fun for me.
Yes, me too. Yes. I will ask the questions that Phil just asked in another way. Internet, do you realize how lazy Phil and I are? Do you realize how little we want to come up with our own content? Do you realize...
I don't see it that way. I call it a challenge. Challenge! America, if you care about your country, you need to prove it by creating a gauntlet as good as this one. That was amazing. Can you do it again?
What?
J'accuse! I want to... Show me what you've got, America. I believe in you. Make me believe in you.
All right. Phil's calling you out. America, can you handle it? Guys, this has been another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth alongside Phil Duvall. We'll see you again real soon.
Yes, we will.
Bye-bye.
Love you.